now it's time for another Pimpy's reaction video. Yay! Somebody put their pants. All right, what is going on out there, peeps? Man, I can't let this one go by. This guy irritates the crap right out of me. I don't know if you guys ever listen to Stephan A Smith. He's like some fluffed up centerpiece for ESPN. I used to like him back in the day. All these people pressuring other individuals to get the jab, claiming that, you know, they should trust the science, or you should trust the science. You could tell they absolutely, positively have not done any research whatsoever. I know for a fact they didn't just by the way they talk. But let's get into this because this is an interesting subject. Irving is right. I challenge Stephan A Smith to an open televised debate about the vax. I guarantee he hasn't done any research whatsoever. I know he's not going to hear this, nor does he care. But if he ever did, I guarantee I could run circles around him. He has not done any research whatsoever. And because of that, him out there pressuring people the way he does is really dangerous. But let's get into what's going on. Listen to Stephan A and we'll talk about it. So this is a video, him and his cohorts on here. If you remember, ESPN's owned by Disney, controlled by China. Them pushing the vax should not be a surprise to anybody, but it's not that. It's the way they go about it. They think they're slick. So let's pay attention.
Okay, a lot to unpack there. Stephan A, now that we've heard from Kyrie, I wish I had a clearer understanding of his position, yet it feels more murky. What's your reaction to Kyrie's message?
Well, I think it's all over the place. But I want to make sure I take the position and producers leave Kendrick Perkins and Jay Williams up on the screen because I want to see them when I'm talking to them and I'm talking to America here. You know, Jay and I, first of all, Jay and I are fine for those fools out there that think we got a problem. They don't realize we brothers. They don't understand. You understand? So we can have disagreement, but we good. Here's the thing that people are not getting, and I want to make sure that I'm clear about.
Let's make sure. Now, remember, this whole thing is about Kyrie Irving not wanting to get the jab and him responding to what Kyrie was saying about not wanting to get the jab. Remember that because listen to his response. It's important to keep that in perspective.
I am no anti-vaxxer. I have been vaccinated. Jay's been vaccinated. I think Kendrick Perkins, I know you have. And we all believe you should get vaccinated. But I...
Okay, so first and foremost, if you got the jab and you think other people should get the jab, why would you start off with first, I'm not an anti-vaxxer? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Or that's like you coming out saying, you know, first and foremost, I'm not pro-choice, but I think that if you want to have the choice to have an abortion, you should have the right to do it. What? What the hell? If you're not pro-choice, then what? So him starting off with, first of all, I'm not anti-vaxxer. Okay, we know that. You got the vax and you're jumping all over people, multiple different professional players, by the way, for not getting the jab. So what's the point of starting off with you're not an anti-vaxxer? That don't make no sense.
I am no anti-vaxxer. Let me be very, very clear about that.
Oh, we were down in it.
I have an issue with Kyrie Irving. And by the way, as I tried to say yesterday, but I'll say today, it ain't about the vaccine. It's about what I label to be his selfishness when it comes to being a teammate of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and the rest of the crew.
No. Okay, so he's going to tell you right now, his issue is how he's a terrible teammate to the people that he brought over to the Nets. Okay, again, I'm going to tell you that because it's important. So the whole segment's supposed to be about Kyrie Irving taking a stand against getting the jab.
With the Brooklyn Nets. That is the issue for me. If you don't want to take the vaccine, that's your choice. You are absolutely right. It's a personal choice, and it's other people's choice to react whatever way they want to. I choose to focus on a couple of things here.
Here we go. If that was the case and he don't care and he's letting Kyrie make his own decisions, then why are you talking about it on ESPN? Why are you even commenting on it if it isn't about the jab? Why would you start off with, I am not an anti-vaxxer. So, again, he's just two-faced is what he is, and that's the kind of crap that irritates me about him.
Kyrie Irving has been in this league for damn near 10 years, if I remember correctly, about 10 years now. He's played over 70 games 3 times. This is the same Kyrie Irving that got hurt before the global pandemic became official, essentially, and before the season was brought to a halt. When the season was scheduled to resume in a bubble.
Again, we're talking about Kyrie Irving's stance on the jab, and you're talking about his career. Okay, we'll keep going.
He was a vice president in a players association who had encouraged people not to participate in play in Orlando in the bubble. But he did so on his own without talking to CP3 and them and letting them know what his position was going to be publicly. They had to find out like the rest of us. He didn't play then.
So if this guy is the vice president of the Players Association, you're trying to tell me that nobody in the NBA, including his own teammates, knew what his stance was on the bubble? You just started off by saying Kyrie did not want to play in the bubble. Now you're saying he came to play and he didn't tell anybody? Or I'm confused, Stephen A. You're talking about Kyrie not being crystal clear, but that doesn't make no sense. He's the vice president of the Players Association. I'm sure that everybody knew what his stance was. He did not want to play in the bubble, but the NBA and the players had decided they were going to play in the bubble. So what's your point?
He's gone, so you take into account he got hurt and had only played 20 games. He got hurt, season gets halted. What does he do? He comes back 10 months later, 10 months after the season was resumed in December. Another season, started in December. And 2 weeks in, 7 games into the season, Kyrie Irving needs a break, disappears for personal reasons. Initially didn't tell the coach or anybody else, okay? Knew he was supposed to come back, got caught partying with his sister. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, again, I mean, if this guy's taking time off for personal reasons, that's his personal business. But keep in mind, Stephan A Smith and ESPN, these are the same people who were supporting the professional tennis player who dropped out and the famous Olympian who bailed on her team in the middle of the Olympics, both of them claiming for mental health reasons, they supported that. So maybe Kyrie needed a mental break, but now you want to jump all over him because he decided to take time off? You're jumping all over because the guy wanted to take a personal time off? What, just because he didn't run over to you and tell you what his personal issues were? And so what if he was out partying with his sister? It was his sister's birthday. Just because you take time off for personal reasons doesn't mean you just sit in your room all day in the dark and do nothing. You still go about your business. Maybe that was one of his ways of coping with whatever it is he needed to cope with. But I love how you like to assume you know what's going through the guy's mind.
Party. All right, where you were exposed to all of that contact tracing and stuff like that, where KD even had to be pulled from some games because accidentally or whatever, they found that he could have potentially been exposed.
So KD, which is Kevin Durant, got pulled from games. But Stephan A Smith is leaving out something very important. Everybody knows I don't like LeBron, so I call him Le Bitch. James threw a tequila party without mask, no social distancing, and Stephan A Smith defended him. Now he's turned around to be two-faced and complaining about Kyrie for being out partying and not social distancing. Do you see the hypocrisy in Stephan A Smith and why he's irritating?
So you had all of these things going on. My point is transition that to where we are now.
Okay, so we're going to transition into, I'm hoping you're coming full circle because the whole segment's supposed to be about the fact that Kyrie has made a personal decision not to get the jab.
And where we are now is yet another reason why Kyrie Irving isn't playing basketball.
He's playing basketball. What are you talking about?
KD is in Brooklyn because of you. James Harden, to a lesser degree, is in Brooklyn because of you. You helped bring these brothers together. And
Still not sure what that's got to do with the jab.
that's where I'm coming from. It is
Okay, let's hear where you're coming from because I still haven't figured it out yet.
my belief. I'm not trying to say forget the vaccine because I understand that's a part of this
No, that's the entire segment.
discussion. Again, but what I'm focusing on and what I want people to know that I'm focusing on about Kyrie Irving is I believe you helped assemble all of this and you've left these dudes hanging.
He didn't leave the dudes hanging. He's playing.
Yet again. Now, we can sit up there and say this has nothing to do with everything else that's going on in this past. Fair enough. But
Look how they do that. That's the same thing they did to Kwame Brown. Bringing up all his personal life and everything and giving him a hard time when it had nothing to do with basketball. But that's what they like to do. Dig up dirt, talk crap about somebody, and try to act like it has everything to do with this segment. It has nothing to do with it.
But the one consistent common denominator that is inescapable is A, Kyrie Irving is a distraction. B, it usually involves him missing time on the job, which he signed up to do, which he encouraged other people to do.
So he's not jumping around saying, pay attention to me. You guys are causing a distraction by focusing on his personal decision. I like how they go, you're a distraction. That's like with your siblings, and I brought this example up before. And you know how the bigger one always grabs a little one by the arm and, they make you smack yourself in the face and go, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? That's kind of like what this is. You talking about it is causing the distraction. He's there. He's playing. So I like how you say, you're causing a distraction. No, he's not. You are, by bringing attention to it, because that's your job, is to try to do everything you can to smear anybody and everybody because your masters told you to that is not taking a jab. You attack them. That's what they do in all media.
Which he's getting $35 million a year to play.
See, like, why do you got to bring up his money? What's that got to do with anything?
So all the things that I'm pointing to, and that's where I want to go from there before we even get into what he said last night. Floor.
See, and then what's that got to do? Anybody out there? What's the whole point of bringing up all this crap that happened in the past? And again, Stephan A Smith being two-faced as usual and a hypocrite. He defended the Olympian and he defended the tennis player when they just dropped out in the middle of their matches in the middle of the Olympics, when they said they needed personal time, but it's not okay for Kyrie to take a personal time off. Then he complained about him partying with his sister and got caught out there, not social distancing and stuff. But wait a minute.
That have had our reservations about taking the vaccine, but ultimately, when you go into ICUs and what have you, and you see things that have been so profoundly detrimental to the African American community, you take a stand and you take a position. I'm not of the position that LeBron James normally, under normal circumstances, should feel any obligation whatsoever to divulge whether or not he's taken the vaccine. But considering the multitude of issues that he's been willing to tackle, considering what provoked him to do so because of concerns for his community, his people, those are his words. These are the kind of things that he has.
So what he's basically saying here, Stephan A Smith, is, look, LeBron James should be entitled to his privacy whether or not he took the vaccination. But since he openly speaks out about other issues, he should speak out about the jab. So if LeBron James was not speaking about other issues, does that mean then he should continue to keep his privacy about the jab? So the only reason why you're going after LeBron is because he is a vocal person. So that's what you're saying is, had he not been vocal about other social justice issues, then you would have been fine with him just keeping his privacy. Do you see the hypocrisy in Stephan A Smith?
Said time and time and time again. Then why would you not speak on the issue of being vaccinated or not? That's what I'm talking about. Of course, he's a citizen. He's entitled to his privacy. We all know that. Mm-hmm. And LeBron James.
What do you mean? Okay, so Kyrie Irving don't speak on other social justice issues. Why isn't he entitled to his own privacy? He is a private citizen. Do you see how he does this? Do you see how he straddles the fence?
James is the ultimate role model. He's an incredible athlete, an incredible humanitarian as far as I'm concerned, one of the best people we've ever seen in the world of sports. But on this particular issue, his unwillingness to divulge where he stands and why he feels whatever it is that he feels, I'm going to say that it's flagrantly inconsistent with all the positions that he has taken and the reasons he has used for taking those positions.
Well, you can't even get him to comment about the mistreatment of the Uyghurs in China. So for you to praise the guy, I mean, he's inconsistent all the time. What is the big deal? So all of a sudden, you're saying he's consistent? You can't get him to comment on all issues. So why should he have to comment on, I'm talking about LeBron James now, why should he have to comment on whether or not he got the jab? That's nobody's business, just like it's nobody's business about if Kyrie got it or not. So do you see how he's two-faced, Stephen A. Smith? Because LeBron speaks out about other issues, he should be forced to speak out about the jab. As a reminder, he is a private citizen. He is entitled to his privacy. Okay, well, Kyrie doesn't speak out about other social justice issues. So why can't you apply that to him? See what I'm saying?
But then again, let's get back to LeBron James in terms of specifics. He was in the news, and I had to speak on the issue today because LeBron James, just a couple of days before his playoff game against the Phoenix Suns, was at his agent's house, Rich Paul, in Beverly Hills. The event was outdoors. The individuals that were in attendance were all tested. All of those safety protocols and the safety measures were taken to ensure that there was no danger whatsoever. But
so you see what he's doing? He's defending LeBron. This is what drives me batty about this guy's two-faced. So if you're okay with LeBron attending a party and you're telling me that, oh, everybody in there is either gotten the jab or has been tested, therefore it's acceptable what they've done. Well, if Kyrie's getting tested, then why can't you just leave him alone? So I think it's the hypocrisy of Stephen A. Smith to jump all over Kyrie and then kiss the butt of LeBron James and defend him and make excuses for him. Again, just shows his true nature. Here's what it comes down to. These people claiming all the time, trust the science. They're not even paying attention to the science. These people have obviously either not done their own research, not read the science, not paid attention to the fact that every single protocol dealing with the jab had been violated, or they're not listening to people with opposing opinions, either by choice or by neglect. And the reason why I say that is when they have platforms like Stephen A. and he goes on there and says what he says and encouraging people, pressuring people to get the jab while claiming that he's not, is dangerous. People should do their own research. People have the right to make their own choice. I think it's hilarious that people from the left who run around talking about abortions are every woman's right because they have a right to choose their body, their choice. But when it comes to the jab, not the same thing is applied. Our body, our choice. That is a personal decision between the individual and their doctor. I just can't stand the hypocrisy from this guy here. He's an idiot. He's the perfect puppet for ESPN, and he makes me sick. Anyways, what do you guys think? Kyrie Irving, he has the right to do whatever he wants. It's his choice. Every decision is each person's personal decision. Now, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I don't take them myself. That's because I've done the research and I've already formed my own opinion. We've done shows about it on the other channel for individuals to go check out. So don't say he's letting his team down looking for an excuse not to play. The NBA has issues with him playing. Or I should say more specifically, there are certain states that will not allow him to play. So that has nothing to do with Kyrie's willing to play or not. He's willing to play. What Stephen A. Smith is trying to do, along with others, is pressure people like Kyrie into getting the jab by using all this other thing about, wow, you're letting your teammates down. What are you, freaking junior high? Does that work? Does that kind of peer pressure? Hey, you want to be with the cool kids? Do you want to hang out with the cool crowd? No. Leave the man alone. Leave all those players alone. I don't care about who got the jab and who didn't. That's their business, not yours. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. Do you like the Stephen A. Smith's approach? Do you think it was okay for him to bring up all the other things that happened to Kyrie during his NBA career and then try to somehow, some way connect it to the jab? I mean, that's such a low ball tactic, and I don't respect this guy at all. I really do think he's an idiot. He used to be really good, but now he's just a puppet, and it's obvious. Anyways, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because we do it helps out the channel. I'd love to hear back from you guys about what you think. I'm out.